The wine touched his lips. The boy king died screaming. Cersei pointed her finger. But this time, the dwarf did not fall. Because someone else had noticed. Someone clever. And everything that should have happened didn't. Underscore, the night is dark and full of theories. What if Tyrion was never accused of Joffrey's murder? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The pie is cut. Joffrey laughs, that cruel sound echoing across the wedding feast. He drinks deep from the wedding chalice, then coughs. Once, twice, the third time. Blood sprays across Margaery's white dress. Tyrion watches from the high table, his mind already racing. He knows what this looks like. He knows where Cersei's finger will point. And he knows he has seconds before everything ends. But then he sees something others miss. Sansa being led away quietly through the crowd by a foolish knight in motley. Not running in panic. Moving with purpose. Tyrion doesn't wait for Cersei's scream. He lunges forward, pushing through the chaos as Joffrey collapses. Guards rush toward the king, but Tyrion's eyes stay locked on his wife. Sansa's hand is in Dontus's grip, pulling her toward a servant's entrance. He moves faster than his short legs should allow, catching them at the doorway. Wait, the word cuts through the madness. Sansa turns, her eyes wide with fear and something else. Something that looks like guilt, but not for poison. For running, for abandoning him when he needs her most. Dontos tries to pull her away. My lady, we must hurry. The ship is waiting. Tyrion's mind clicks pieces together like a puzzle. What ship? Whose ship? He grabs Sansa's other arm. Don't go with him. It's a trap. You're being framed. Cersei's shriek finally erupts behind them. Him, the imp. He poisoned my son. But Tyrion doesn't turn. He stares at Sansa, at her confused face, at the necklace around her throat, at one missing stone. He looks at Don. Littlefinger sent you. The fool's face goes white. That's answer enough. Tyrion spins, still gripping Sansa. Father. Tywin pushes through the crowd, his face carved from stone. Cersei's pointing at Tyrion, screaming for his head. But Tyrion raises his voice over hers. Look at Lady Sansa's necklace. Look at the fool who tried to take her. Look at who benefits if I'm blamed and she flees. Tywin's cold eyes miss nothing. He sees the missing stone. Sees Dontos frozen in terror. Sees Sansa's confusion that's too genuine to fake. Sir Meryn sees the fool. The gold cloak obeys instantly. Tyrion meets his father's gaze. Someone set this up. The fool breaks quickly in the black cells. He sings of Littlefinger, of ships waiting in Blackwater Bay, of plans within plans. But he doesn't know who provided the poison. That secret, he swears, came from the Tyrells through Lady Olenna. The realm holds its breath. The boy king is dead. The dwarf didn't do it, but someone did, and now the real game begins. Tywin stands in the throne room, looking at the iron throne where Tommen now sits, a terrified boy of 8. The hand's eyes are calculating. This is worse than Tyrion being guilty. This threatens everything. The Tyrells arrive at the Red Keep with smiles that don't reach their eyes. Margaery wears mourning black, playing the grieving widow beautifully. But Mace Tyrell's face is tight with barely concealed panic. Lady Olenna sits in her chair, looking at Tywin like a lion regards a mouse. We had nothing to do with this tragedy. Of course not. Tywin's voice drips false courtesy, though curious how the fool named your mother. Lies from a tortured man mean nothing. Perhaps, but the realm will wonder. The old woman's eyes narrow. Careful, Lord Tywin. Your house has secrets too. In the small council chamber, Tyrion pours wine with shaking hands. He's alive. He should feel relief. Instead, he feels the noose tightening differently. Varys watches him with those knowing eyes. You're alive because you're useful, little lord. For now. Pycelle mutters about investigations and justice. But everyone knows justice died with Joffrey. Politics remains. Tywin enters, and the room goes silent. My son will remain as master of coin. He's proven his value. Tyrion should feel grateful. He doesn't, because his father's eyes promise this debt will be collected. With interest, Cersei drinks wine like water, rage and grief painting her face in madness. She knows Tyrion didn't do it, but she wants him to hurt anyway. She corners him in the hallway, her breath whines. You think you've won. You think father's protection will last. Tyrion meets her gaze steadily. I think we both lost something today, sister. A son, a king. Whatever else we are to each other, can we not mourn that? Her hand flies, the slap echoing off stone. Then she laughs, that broken sound that chills him. You'll pay. Maybe not today, but you'll pay. Night falls on King's Landing. In the Sept of Baelor, Joffrey lies in state, painted and pale. Margaery kneels beside the bier, performing grief for the watching lords. But her eyes flick to Tommen, standing small and scared. The new king. Her new king, if she plays this right. Tyrion watches from the shadows, seeing the calculation beneath her tears. She didn't know. He's suddenly certain. Margaery didn't know about the poison. But grandmother Ellen. That's a different question, and questions like that get people killed. 3 days after the wedding, another player arrives. Oberyn Martell walks into the Red Keep like a cat into a kennel. He's come for a trial, for justice, for vengeance. But the trial never happened. The dwarf didn't fall. Now the red viper coils in the capital, searching for other prey. He finds Tyrion in the Tower of the Hand, drinking alone. I hear you cheated death, little lion. Tyrion raises his cup. Momentarily, the Dornish prince sits without invitation. Then let's drink to survival, and to finding who really killed the boy. I have my own murders to solve. Tyrion and Oberyn share wine and words. The dwarf is careful, dancing around topics like a man crossing broken glass. But Oberyn isn't subtle. Your father's hands are covered in blood. Dornish blood. Ilya's blood. My sister's children's blood. That trial I came for. It still needs to happen, just with different defendants. Tyrion's blood runs cold. He knows what this means, what it threatens. Father, I need to warn father. But part of him, the part that's suffered under Tywin's cruelty all his life, stays silent. Perhaps some trials are deserved. Perhaps some justice is necessary, no matter the cost. Perhaps some justice is necessary, no matter the cost. The investigation into Joffrey's murder continues, but quietly. Tywin doesn't want a spectacle. He wants control. But control slips through his fingers like sand. The Tyrells grow more defensive. The Dornish grow more aggressive. The faith of the Seven, empowered by Cersei's desperate attempts to arm them against her enemies, grows bolder. The High Sparrow walks the streets, preaching about sin and punishment, about kings and queens who mock the gods, about justice for the common man. Tyrion watches from the Red Keep and sees disaster approaching. We're lighting fires we can't control. Cersei makes her fatal mistake. She storms into the small council, her eyes wild. The faith militant will restore them. Let them have their power. They'll protect Tommen from our enemies. Tywin's face goes rigid. You'll do no such thing. But Cersei's already signed the decree, already sent it out. The High Sparrow already has armed fanatics in the streets. Tyrion wants to laugh at the madness of it, giving swords to fanatics. What could possibly go wrong? But he sees his father's fury and knows this battle isn't his to fight. Not yet. Soon. Margaery is arrested 3 weeks after Joffrey's funeral. The faith claims she lied about her virtue, that her marriage to Joffrey was invalid, that her new marriage to Tommen can't proceed. The realm explodes. Mace Tyrell marches his army to King's Landing. Tywin marches his to meet them. Civil war looms over the capital like a thundercloud, and Tyrion stands in the middle, trying to hold it together with words and wine and desperate diplomacy. He meets Mace on the rosy road. "My lord, this madness serves no one." Mace's face is purple. "Give me my granddaughter. Give her now." Tyrion negotiates like his life depends on it. Because it does. He offers Margaery's release in exchange for testimony about Joffrey's death. The Tyrell's support for Tommen's reign. A new marriage alliance, perhaps between houses. Anything to avoid the slaughter. Mace wants blood. Tywin wants submission. Tyrion just wants to survive. He brokers a compromise that satisfies no one but prevents immediate war. Margaery will be released to house arrest. The investigation will continue. The wedding to Tommen will proceed. Eventually, maybe, if everyone behaves. No one will behave. Tyrion knows that. They all know that. But it buys time. In the quiet, after the storm, Jaime finds Tyrion drinking on the battlements. "You did well, little brother." Tyrion laughs bitterly. "I delayed the inevitable. That's not the same as success." Jaime sits beside him, his golden hand catching moonlight. "There's something I need to tell you." About Tisha. Tyrion's whole body goes still. What about her? And Jaime, Honorable Jaime, finally tells the truth. "She wasn't a whore. Father made me lie. She loved you, and we destroyed her for it." The wine cup falls from Tyrion's nerveless fingers, shattering on stone below. Everything he believed, everything he suffered, all built on lies. Tyrion doesn't speak to Jaime for days. He doesn't speak to anyone. He drinks and thinks and plans. Father lied about Tisha. Father would lie about anything. Father's hands are covered in blood, just like Oberyn said. And suddenly, the right thing and the vengeful thing align perfectly in Tyrion's mind. He finds Oberyn in a brothel, surprising no one. "I know where you can find proof." About Ilya, about the Mountain's orders, about who commanded her death. The Red Viper's smile is all teeth. "Then let's go hunting, little lion. Let's find the truth that everyone's tried to bury." They search in the places Tywin thought secure. Pycelle's chambers, Qyburn's notes, letters in the Hand's Tower, and they find it. Evidence of orders, of commands given during Robert's rebellion, of Tywin's cold calculations that led to Ilya Martell's rape and murder, to her children's deaths. Not direct orders, perhaps, but knowing permission, willful blindness to the Mountain's nature. Oberyn holds the letters with shaking hands. "I knew it. I always knew it. But knowing and proving are different things. Now I have both. Tyrion looks at the evidence that will damn his father. He should feel guilt. He should feel horror. He feels free. The small council meeting the next day starts normally. Discussions of grain supplies, reports from the north about updates on the Tyrell situation. Then Oberyn speaks. Lord Tywin, I have questions about events during Robert's rebellion. The room freezes. Tywin's eyes are ice. This is neither the time nor place for your Dornish grievances. Oberyn stands, placing letters on the table. These say otherwise. These say you gave the mountain permission. These say you knew what would happen to my sister. These say you're guilty of her murder. The silence that follows is absolute. Then Tywin's hand moves toward his sword. Chaos erupts. Oberyn's hand is already on his spear. Tywin's guards draw steel. Tyrion lunges forward. Stop. Everyone stop. But it's too late for words. It was always too late. Oberyn is too fast, too angry, too skilled. His spear flashes once. Tywin's guard falls. Twice, another guard drops. 3 times. The hand of the king stumbles back, a red line across his thigh. Not fatal, not yet. But the damage is done. Oberyn backs away, spear leveled at Tywin's heart. Your father, little lion? Your father's debt comes due, and I will be the collector. It comes due, and I will be the collector. The gold cloaks drag Oberyn to the black cells. Tywin bleeds but lives, the cut shallow enough. Tyrion stands frozen between his father and his friend. You helped him. Cersei's voice cuts like a knife. You led him to those letters. Tyrion meets her gaze without flinching. I led him to the truth. There's a difference, but not to Tywin, not to the man whose leg now wears bandages stained red. His father's eyes promise death. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon, very soon, unless Tyrion moves first. The thought terrifies him, but not enough to stop it forming in his mind. Margaery remains under house arrest when news of the incident spreads. The Tyrells demand answers. The Faith demands judgment. The Dornish demand Oberyn's immediate release and Tywin's head. The city teeters on the edge of violence. Tyrion works day and night, negotiating, compromising, bleeding himself dry with words and promises. He frees Oberyn on condition he leaves King's Landing. He placates the Tyrells with assurances. He begs the Faith for patience. Every solution is a knife edge. Every peace is temporary. And through it all, Tywin watches him work with those cold, calculating eyes, planning. Always planning. Oberyn doesn't leave. He skulks in the shadows of King's Landing, a viper waiting to strike. Tyrion finds him in a wine sink near the Street of Steel. You should run, while you can. The Dornish prince drinks deep. I didn't come this far to run, little lion. The mountain still breathes. Your father still plots. Justice still waits. But I learned something about you. You didn't tell your father about the evidence until I showed it. You could have warned him, could have stopped me. You chose not to. That makes you interesting, or it makes me a traitor to my blood. News from the north changes everything. The Boltons have betrayed Robb Stark. The Red Wedding has stained the twins with blood. The young wolf is dead. His mother is dead. The north is broken. Tyrion hears the news and feels sick. More death. More murder. More family destroying family. And through it all, Tywin sits in the small council looking satisfied. This is his work, his plan, his victory. Tyrion looks at his father and sees not a great man, but a monster. A brilliant, terrible monster who sacrifices everything for power, for legacy, for a name that means nothing if souls are the price. Sansa hears about her family's slaughter and breaks. Tyrion finds her in their chambers, sobbing into pillows. He doesn't know what to say. What words exist for this level of pain? He sits beside her, offering silent presence. She turns on him with rage and grief in her eyes. Your father did this. Your family killed mine. I know. The admission hangs between them. I know, and I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring them back. No, it doesn't. But I swear to you, Sansa, by every god that exists, this ends. My father's cruelty ends. I'll make sure of it. The promise to Sansa changes something in Tyrion. He stops surviving and starts plotting. He studies his father like an enemy general studies a fortress, looking for weaknesses, finding them. Tywin is old, despite his vitality. He drinks more wine than before, the leg wound paining him. He trusts Pycelle to mix his pain drafts. Pycelle, who can be manipulated. Pycelle, who fears power. Pycelle, who might be convinced that Tywin's death would save thousands of lives. The thought should horrify Tyrion. Instead, it gives him hope. Dark hope, poisonous hope. But hope nonetheless. Cersei's madness blooms like rot in fruit. She discovers Tyrion and Sansa's secret meetings, their quiet conversations, their growing alliance. She interprets it as betrayal, as conspiracy. She corners Tyrion in the hallway, wine on her breath and murder in her eyes. You plot with my enemies, with the Stark girl. I should have you arrested. The Faith would love to judge you, to cleanse the realm of your sin. Tyrion keeps his voice level, though his heart races. The only one sinning here, sweet sister, is you, sinning against sense, against reason, against yourself. Her hand reaches for the dagger at her hip. Jaime stops the confrontation, his missing hand somehow more commanding than most men's swords. Enough, both of you, enough. Cersei spins on him, betrayed fury blazing. You choose him over me, always him over me. Jaime's face is carved from stone. I choose sense over madness, Cersei. I choose the realm over our pride. We've lost enough. We've done enough damage. It's time to stop. She laughs, that broken laugh that signals her fracture. Stop. When did lions ever stop hunting? We hunt until there's nothing left to kill, until the prey is gone, or until the hunters destroy themselves. Qyburn comes to Tyrion in secret. The former maester wears his chains, but serves darker masters. He speaks in whispers about Cersei's plans, about wildfire hidden beneath the sept, about caches planted during Aerys's reign, still waiting to burn, about Cersei's intention to destroy the Faith, the Tyrells, everyone who threatens her, all at once, in one glorious blaze. Tyrion feels his blood turn to ice. She's planning to burn them. The sept, everyone inside. Qyburn nods slowly, unless someone stops her. I thought you should know. I'm many things, my lord, but a fanatic. That I am not. Tyrion takes the information to his father, expecting horror, expecting immediate action. Instead, Tywin's eyes grow calculating. How much wildfire? How many caches? Where are they located? Could they be triggered selectively? Tyrion stares at him in disbelief. You're not thinking of stopping her. You're thinking of controlling the fire, using it yourself. Tywin's smile is colder than winter. The sept represents a problem. The faith has grown too bold. If my daughter hands us the solution, why not use it? Because it's madness, father. Because it's murder on a scale even you should fear. But Tywin Lannister fears nothing, except weakness. And weakness he will never show. Oberyn finds Tyrion drinking in the Godswood, staring at the heart tree's carved face. The red viper sits without invitation. You look like a man with terrible knowledge. Tyrion laughs bitterly. Knowledge is always terrible. The more you know, the more you wish you didn't. Oberyn understands. That's why ignorance is bliss. But we're not blessed with ignorance. You and I, we see too much, understand too much, suffer too much. What will you do with your knowledge, little lion? Stop, my father. Stop, my sister. Stop this madness before it consumes us all. The Dornish prince nods slowly. Then you'll need allies. Fortunately, I know where to find them. They gather in secret. Tyrion, Oberyn, Varys, and surprisingly, the Master of Coin arrives with his knowing smile. I hear you're planning something ambitious. Tyrion eyes him warily. You set up the poisoning. You tried to frame me. You nearly started a civil war. Littlefinger shrugs, elegantly. Chaos is a ladder. I climb, but this chaos, this threatens everyone, even me. I prefer a world that exists to exploit. So I offer my services, my spies, my knowledge, my utterly amoral pragmatism. It's more than any of you deserve, but it's what you need. The conspiracy forms in shadows. They plan carefully. Tyrion will distract Cersei, keep her focused on imagined threats. Oberyn will handle Tywin, challenging him to trial by combat over Ilya's death. A trial Tywin can't refuse without looking weak. Varys will position his little birds to prevent the wildfire plot. And Littlefinger will manipulate the Tyrells, keeping them placated until the moment strikes. It's an impossible plan, built on distrust and desperation, but it's all they have. All that stands between King's Landing and fire. The trial is announced. Oberyn Martell formally challenges Tywin Lannister for his role in Ilya Martell's death. The realm holds its breath. This isn't trial by combat for murder. This is justice for war crimes, for command decisions, for letting monsters loose and pretending innocence. Tywin could refuse, but that would be admission. So he accepts, names his champion, Seer Gregor Clegane, the mountain that rides, the same man who killed Ilya, the same man Oberyn has hunted for years. The circle closes, the cycle completes, and King's Landing prepares for blood. The night before the duel, Tyrion finds Oberyn in his chambers. The prince sharpens his spear with methodical precision. You don't have to die for this. Oberyn doesn't look up. We all die, little lion. The question is whether we die for something or die for nothing. I choose something. Your sister, your children, justice. That's something. And if you win, if you survive, then I collect another debt. From your father, for enabling the mountain, for protecting him, for using his brutality and pretending clean hands. Justice doesn't end with one death. It's a process, continuous, eternal, exhausting. The day of the trial dawns hot and bright. The crowds packed the arena like sardines in a barrel. Nobles and small folk alike, all hungry for spectacle, for violence, for meaning in the blood. Oberyn enters light and graceful, his spear catching sunlight like liquid metal. The mountain enters like a walking siege tower, armor black as night, sword long as a grown man. They face each other across sand, already red with history. The herald calls the charges. The judges take their seats. Tywin watches from above, his face carved stone. And the dance begins. Oberyn moves like water, flowing around the mountain's massive swings. His spear flashes once, twice, drawing lines of red across the giant's arms, his legs, his face. The crowd roars with each hit. The mountain bellows rage and pain. Slower now, bleeding now, desperate now, but still dangerous. A cornered animal is most deadly. Oberyn knows this. He stays back, out of reach, letting the poison on his spear do its work. Patient, careful, unlike the show's version, this Oberyn learned from past mistakes. This Oberyn doesn't taunt. He executes. Clinical, cold, efficient, necessary. The mountain falls to one knee. Then both. His sword drops from nerveless fingers. Oberyn circles him like a shark around dying prey. You killed Ilya Martell. Confess it. The mountain's voice is a dying growl. I did. I raped her. I murdered her. I killed her children, because Lord Tywin commanded it. The mountain's head moves. Not commanded, allowed, permitted. He didn't stop me, didn't punish me, used me. That's his way. Uses monsters and pretends he's not one. The confession echoes across the silent arena. Then Oberyn's spear strikes. Quick, final, the mountain falls. The judges have no choice. The champion has fallen. The confession was heard. Tywin Lannister is guilty of war crimes, not personally killing Ilya, but enabling her death. Permitting it, the sentence should be death. But he's Hand of the King, Lord of Casterly Rock, the most powerful man in West. So the judges compromise. Exile from court. Removal from position. Disgrace, not death, but death of legacy. Tywin stands when the sentence is read. His face shows nothing, but Tyrion sees his hands shake. Sees the rage and humiliation and fury burning cold. His father will never forgive this, never forget, and Tyrion helped make it happen. That night, Tywin falls ill. A sudden sickness, fever and chills. Vomiting blood. Pycelle tends him, mixing draughts, offering treatments. But nothing helps. The maester whispers to Tyrion in the hallway. Poison, I think. But I don't know what kind. I can't counter it if I don't know the source. Tyrion's blood runs cold. Who would dare? Then he remembers. Oberyn, smiling with too many teeth. Oberyn, promising justice would continue. Oberyn's reputation with poisons. The Red Viper has struck without ever raising his spear. And Tywin Lannister, mighty and terrible, dies not in glory but in agony, fitting justice. Terrible justice. Tywin Lannister dies at dawn. The mighty lion, reduced to a feverish corpse in sweat-soaked sheets. Tyrion stands over the body, feeling nothing and everything. Guilt, relief, horror, freedom. A Maester pronounces the cause as natural illness. Only Tyrion and Oberyn know different. Only they share the weight of this murder. This justice. This sin. The Red Viper meets his eyes across the deathbed and nods once. Your father's debt is paid. Mine too, perhaps. Or perhaps debts like ours never truly clear. They just accumulate interest, compound, destroy. The small council convenes in crisis. Tywin's death leaves a vacuum that everyone scrambles to fill. Cersei demands the position of hand. Mace Tyrell suggests himself. The High Sparrow sends word that the faith should guide the realm. Everyone wants power. No one wants responsibility. Tyrion sits at the table, exhausted, knowing what comes next. Tommen's voice, high and scared, cuts through the arguing. I name Tyrion Lannister as Hand of the King. The room goes silent. Cersei's face turns purple, but the king has spoken. And that means everything. Or nothing, depending on who has the swords. Tyrion's first act as Hand is to release Margaery from house arrest. She emerges from the maiden vow like a spring flower from winter's prison, beautiful and calculating in equal measure. She curtsies to Tyrion with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Thank you, Lord Hand. I won't forget this kindness. That's what worries me. She laughs, a sound like bells and knives. You're learning, Lord Tyrion. About court, about power, about how kindness is always a transaction. I wonder what price you'll charge. Tyrion meets her gaze steadily. Only that you remember the realm needs peace more than anyone needs revenge. But peace is already dying. In the north, the Boltons fly their flayed man banners from Winterfell. Sansa hears the news, and something in her breaks differently. Not collapse. Crystallization. She finds Tyrion in his solar, maps spread before him. I want to go home. Tyrion looks up, seeing the steel in her eyes. They'll kill you. Roose Bolton holds the north. I don't care. I'm done being a hostage. Done being a piece. I'm a Stark. And the north remembers. He sees it then. The girl is gone. The woman who remains is dangerous, powerful, exactly what the realm needs, and exactly what he must lose. Brienne of Tarth arrives in King's Landing with Podrick at her side. She kneels before Sansa, with a sword across her palms. Lady Stark, I swore to your mother I'd protect you. I've failed in that duty until now. But if you'll have me, I'll see you home safely. Or die trying. Sansa takes the sword, feeling its weight. Then we ride north. Tyrion arranges it quietly. Gold for the journey. Horses, supplies, a small guard that won't draw attention. He watches them leave at dawn, knowing he may have just armed his family's enemies. Knowing he doesn't care. Some things matter more than lions and stags. Cersei discovers Sansa's escape and erupts. She storms the Hand's Tower with gold cloaks behind her. You let her go. You traitorous dwarf. You let a Stark escape to raise armies against us. Tyrion stands behind his desk, hands steady despite his racing heart. I let a hostage go home. Just like father should have done years ago. Like you should have done after Joffrey died. Keeping her was cruelty without purpose. She lunges for him. Jaime catches her arm. Enough, Cersei. Enough. Let him go. Let them all go. We've done enough damage. She turns on him, betrayed. You too, always him over me. Littlefinger watches the chaos from the shadows, his smile growing wider. Everything is proceeding better than he hoped. Tywin is dead. The Lannisters are fractured. Sansa is moving back into play. And Chaos, his old friend, reigns supreme. He arranges a meeting with Tyrion in a wine sink near the docks. "You're doing well, Lord Hand. Better than I expected." Tyrion drinks without pleasure. "Is that why you're still here? I thought you'd flee by now. Run back to the Vale." "Why would I run? This is where the game is played, where thrones are won and lost. Besides, I have an investment in you." "Investments are worthless if the bank burns." Varys brings news that changes everything. Dragons have been seen in Slaver's Bay. A young woman with silver hair commands them, building an army of former slaves. Daenerys Targaryen lives, and she's coming home. The small council debates what this means. Some want to send assassins. Others want to negotiate. Tyrion stares at the maps, seeing new pieces on the board. New threats. New possibilities. New players who don't care about Lannister or Stark or any of the old game. Players who can burn everything and start fresh. Maybe that's what the realm needs. Cleansing fire, Oberyn prepares to leave King's Landing. His vengeance is complete. His sister's death is avenged. His debts are paid. He finds Tyrion in the Godswood, staring at the heart tree. "We were magnificent together, you and I, terrible and magnificent." Tyrion doesn't turn. "Will you go home? Back to dawn, to sun spears and warmth." The Red Viper laughs. "Eventually, but first I have other business. Other murders to investigate. Other debts to collect. The game doesn't end, little lion. It just changes players. We'll meet again. And when we do, I hope we're on the same side. Because you're one of the few interesting men left alive. News from the Riverlands brings war closer. The Tullys have retaken Riverrun. Littlefinger's agents report that Edmure Tully is gathering forces, calling the Riverlords to march. The Brotherhood without banners emerges from the shadows, led by a resurrected woman who whispers of vengeance for the Red Wedding. The realm fractures further. North against Bolton. Riverlands against Frey. Everyone against everyone. Tyrion works himself to exhaustion, trying to hold the center together. But centers don't hold. Not in not anymore. Only the edges exist. Hard edges, cutting edges, bleeding edges. Cersei vanishes from the Red Keep one night. Gold cloaks search everywhere but find nothing. She's simply gone. Qyburn, too, both missing, both dangerous. Jaime comes to Tyrion, his face pale. She's going to do it. The wildfire. We have to stop her. But Tyrion's already moving. Already sending ravens to Casterly Rock. Already preparing for what comes next. Where would she go? Jaime's voice is hollow. Home. She'd go home to gather forces. To prepare. To burn it all down from a position of strength. Then we go after her. Before she can strike. Before more die for her madness. The brothers look at each other, united at last. The journey to Casterly Rock takes weeks. By the time they arrive, Cersei's already fortified the castle. Lannister, Bannermen, loyal to her, hold the gates. Gold cloaks in crimson and gold man the walls. And somewhere inside, wildfire waits. Tyrion stands before the closed gates, calling up to his sister. "Cersei, this ends now. Open the gates." Her voice echoes down from the battlements. "It ends when I say it ends, little brother." When the realm learns what happens to those who cross House Lannister, when everyone burns who deserves to burn, starting with you, the gates remain shut. War comes to Casterly Rock. The gates remain shut. War comes to Casterly Rock. The siege begins badly. Cersei has more men, better position, and madness on her side. Tyrion's forces consist of sellswords hired with empty promises, minor lords who fear what Cersei will do if unchecked, and Jaime's personal guard. Not enough. Never enough. But Tyrion has something Cersei doesn't. He has the castle's secrets, hidden passages, servant corridors, the path he used as a boy to escape his father's rage. He sends Bronn through the tunnels with a small strike force. Get inside. Find the wildfire. Destroy it before she can use it. Bronn grins that sellsword grin. Pay me triple. Done. The fight inside Casterly Rock is brutal. Bronn's sellswords clash with Cersei's gold cloaks in corridors too narrow for formation fighting. Blade work. Close and desperate. Men die in the darkness, their screams echoing through stone halls their ancestors built. Bronn fights like a demon, his skills bought and paid for in blood and gold. He finds the wildfire caches in the deep cellars, hundreds of jars, enough to blow the castle into the sea, enough to kill thousands. He begins carrying them out, one by one, sweating with fear and effort. Knowing one spark means death, Cersei realizes too late what's happening. She rushes to the cellars, Qyburn at her side. But Bronn's already removed half the wildfire, already neutralized her threat. She stands in the depleted storage room, staring at empty spaces where jars used to sit. Then she laughs. That broken laugh that signals her final fracture. Fine, if I can't have my fire, I'll have my flood. She orders the sea gates opened. Orders the lower levels flooded, willing to destroy the castle rather than let Tyrion take it. Willing to drown everyone inside, herself included. Madness, complete madness. The water rushes in like a living thing, cold and black and merciless. Tyrion's forces flee upward, abandoning the lower levels. Men drown in the darkness. Others crush each other in panic. The castle's foundations groan under the pressure. Stone cracks. Walls shudder. Centuries of Lannister pride drowning in salt water. Tyrion watches from the courtyard as his ancestral home dies around him. Part of him mourns. Part of him feels relief. Maybe some legacies deserve to drown. Maybe some houses should end. Maybe the lion's roar needs to fade into silence. Jaime finds Cersei on the battlements, watching the water rise. She turns to him, her dress soaked, her hair wild. Do you see, brother? Do you see what they made me do? They forced this. Forced me to destroy everything we built. Everything we are. Jaime's face is carved from stone. No one forced you, Cersei. You chose this. Every step, every decision, every cruelty. You chose. And now it ends. He reaches for her, meaning to escort her to surrender, to end this madness peacefully, but she pulls a dagger. Of course she does. Cersei has never surrendered. Never will they struggle on the battlements. Brother and sister, lover and lover, golden twins torn apart by power and madness. The knife flashes. Jaime's missing hand makes him clumsy. Cersei is desperate. The blade finds flesh. Jaime gasps, stumbles, falls to one knee. Cersei raises the dagger for a killing blow. But Brienne is there, her sword smashing the blade away. The big woman grabs Cersei by the throat, lifting her off her feet. Yield. The word is a command. Cersei's feet kick empty air. Her fingers claw at Brienne's face. But the warrior woman's grip is iron. Cersei yields, or passes out. Either way, it's over. The aftermath is messy. Casterly Rock is partially flooded, the lower levels permanently damaged. Cersei is taken to King's Landing in chains, screaming about injustice and betrayal. Jaime recovers from his wounds, but something in him has broken. The brother Tyrion knew is gone. A stranger wearing Jaime's face remains, bitter, hollow, lost. Tyrion walks through the damaged castle, seeing the ruin of his family's legacy. The lion's den is broken. The roar is silenced. And he's the one who did it. For justice, for survival, for reasons that feel less certain now that the deed is done. News reaches them from across the narrow sea. Daenerys Targaryen has assembled her invasion force. 3 dragons, 8,000 unsullied Dothraki screamers. Ships bearing the 3-headed dragon sail toward west. Coming home, Tyrion reads the reports and knows his time as Hand is ending. Knows the game has changed beyond recognition. Knows that everything he's fought for might burn anyway. He thinks about Sansa in the north, about Cersei in chains, about Tywin in the ground, about the price of survival. Then he makes a decision, a final gamble. He sends a raven east, to the mother of dragons, offering his service, his knowledge, his absolutely amoral pragmatism. Because if the world is going to burn anyway, he might as well choose the fire. Cersei's trial before the Faith is a spectacle. The High Sparrow presides, his bare feet and plain robes contrasting with the Sept's golden grandeur. The charge is read like a catalogue of sins. Arming the Faith militant, adultery, incest, conspiracy to commit mass murder. The evidence is damning. Witnesses testify. Letters are presented. The Faith finds her guilty on all counts. The sentence should be death. But Tommen intervenes. His mother will live, stripped of title, stripped of power, confined to Casterly Rock for life. A living death, fitting justice, terrible justice. Cersei's eyes find Tyrion in the crowd. Hate burns there, pure and eternal. Tyrion's resignation as Hand comes 3 days after the trial. He can't serve anymore, can't hold together a realm that's fracturing faster than he can repair, can't keep playing a game where the only prize is survival. Tommen accepts with tears. You're the best hand I could have asked for. Tyrion smiles sadly. You'll find better, someone who still believes, who still has hope. I'm fresh out of both. Margaery takes his place, the first woman to serve as Hand of the King. She's young, she's clever, and she's learned from watching everyone else's mistakes. Maybe that's enough. Maybe in the north Sansa Stark reaches Winterfell with Brienne at her side. The castle is occupied by Boltons, but not for long. The northern lords, furious about the Red Wedding, rally to her banner. Lord Roose Bolton finds himself besieged in the castle he stole, surrounded by angry Northmen calling for his blood, for justice, for vengeance. He tries to negotiate, offers tribute, offers hostages, but the North remembers, and the North doesn't forgive. When Winterfell falls, Roose Bolton is given to the wolves. Literally, Sansa watches without flinching. This is what power feels like. Cold, necessary, hers. Jon Snow rides south from Castle Black with news that changes everything. The White Walkers are real. The long night is coming. The petty squabbles over iron chairs don't matter when the dead are marching. He reaches Winterfell and finds Sansa ruling as queen in the north. The reunion is emotional, complicated. He's her bastard brother, her family, her ally. But he brings warnings no one wants to hear. We need to prepare, need to unite, need to forget our feuds and face the real enemy. Sansa listens. She's learned to listen, to calculate, to understand that power means nothing if there's no realm left to rule. Tyrion travels east. Each mile away from Westeros feels like shedding weight, like chains falling. He passes through Volantis, following rumors of dragons and silver-haired queens. He travels with Jaime, their brotherhood tested but not broken. They don't speak of Cersei, don't speak of Tywin, don't speak of all the ghosts they carry. They just ride, day after day, heading towards something new, something that might redeem them, or might destroy them. Either way, it's forward, not backward, not dwelling in past failures. Moving in Meereen, Daenerys Targaryen holds court in the Great Pyramid. She's conquered Slaver's Bay, freed countless slaves, built an army, hatched dragons. Now she plans her invasion of Westeros, of home. But home is a place she's never seen. A memory built from her brother's lies and Sir Barristan's stories. She needs guidance, needs someone who knows the realm, who understands its politics, its people, its weaknesses. When Tyrion Lannister arrives at her gates, requesting an audience, she's curious. The dwarf from across the narrow sea, the kinslayer, the cursed little lion. She grants him entry. Their first meeting is tense. Tyrion kneels, knowing this woman could feed him to dragons with a word. Your Grace, I come offering service. I know its houses, its people, its secrets. I can help you win. Daenerys studies him with eyes too old for her years. You're a Lannister. Your family has done terrible things. What makes you think I want your service? Tyrion meets her gaze steadily. Because terrible people know how terrible people think. Because I've climbed from the bottom and seen the top and know both are terrible. Because I want to be better than my name. Maybe together we can make something better than what exists. We can make something better than what exists. Daenerys tests him, asks questions about Westerosi politics, about the great houses, about what she faces when she lands. Tyrion answers honestly, brutally so. You'll face a realm that's been at war for years, that's exhausted, that fears change. Your dragons will terrify them. Your foreign army will terrify them. You'll terrify them. But fear can be useful if wielded correctly. If paired with mercy, with justice, with the promise of something better than what they have. Daenerys smiles. Jorah Mormont warned me about you. Said you were dangerous. He was right. You're hired. Welcome to my council, Lord Lannister. Tyrion, please. I'm done with lords. The invasion fleet assembles. Ships from Meereen, from Volantis, from every free city that sees opportunity in chaos. Dragons fly overhead, casting shadows like omens. Unsullied practice formation drills on the decks. Dothraki tend their horses in the holds. The second sons and the Stormcrows sharpen their weapons. Everyone prepares for war. Tyrion stands at the rail, watching Essos fade behind them. Jaime joins him, having second thoughts, always. But I stopped letting doubt paralyze me. Now I just move forward and hope I'm heading somewhere better. His brother nods. That's all any of us can do. Move forward and hope. In Westeros, the realm holds its breath. Sansa rules the north. Margaery guides Tommen in King's Landing. The Tyrells consolidate power in the Reach. Dawn watches and waits. Oberyn whispering in his brother's ear about opportunities and alliances. The Riverlands rebuild under Edmure Tully. The Vale remains isolated under Littlefinger's subtle control. The Stormlands split between loyalties. The Iron Islands raid and burn as always. And in the far north, Jon Snow fortifies Castle Black, watching the horizon, seeing winter approach, knowing that all their petty conflicts will mean nothing when the long night falls. News of Daenerys' approach reaches King's Landing. Margaery convenes the small council. Tyrion's with her. He sent a raven. He's her hand now. The room explodes in panic and fury. Betrayal, treason. But Margaery raises her hand for silence. Or opportunity. If Tyrion vouches for her, perhaps we should listen. Perhaps we should negotiate rather than fight. We've had enough war. Enough death. Enough destruction. Maybe it's time for something different. The council debates through the night. Some want to resist. Others want to surrender. Others want to manipulate. It's politics. It's always politics. Even with dragons on the horizon, Daenerys' fleet lands at Dragonstone first. The ancestral seat of House Targaryen, abandoned and waiting. She walks through the halls her ancestors built, feeling the weight of history, of legacy, of destiny. Tyrion walks beside her, explaining the significance of each room, each throne, each painting. This is where your family planned their conquest, where dragons were born, where kings were made, and where they went mad. Remember that last part, Your Grace. Power here has a price. Remember the price. Daenerys touches the walls, feeling cold stone. I won't forget. I won't become my father. That's why I need people like you. To remind me. To keep me human. The negotiations begin. Ravens fly between Dragonstone and King's Landing. Between north and south. Between every power center in the realm. Daenerys offers terms. Recognition of her claim. A position on the council for each great house. Justice but not vengeance. Rebuilding but not retaliation. Peace but with dragons to enforce it. Margaery counters. Tommen remains king. Daenerys marries him, uniting Targaryen and Baratheon again. Everyone keeps their lands. Everyone survives. It's compromise. It's messy. It's politics. But maybe, possibly, it might work. If everyone wants peace more than victory. Big if. Sansa receives the terms and laughs. The North is independent. That's not negotiable. We knelt 2 dragons once. Never again. She sends her own terms. Recognition of Northern independence. An alliance, not subjugation. Trade agreements. Mutual defense pacts. But sovereignty. Always sovereignty. The North remembers. And the North will never forget. Daenerys reads Sansa's reply and smiles. I like her. She has spine. Tyrion grins. You two would get along terrifyingly well. Both of you learned the game from masters. Both of you survived what should have killed you. Both of you are done bending. Maybe that's what the realm needs. Unbending women. The final council convenes at neutral ground. Cursed ground. Fitting ground. Representatives from every kingdom. Sansa for the north. Margaery for the crown. Daenerys for the claimants. Yara Greyjoy for the islands. Oberyn for Dorne. Lords and ladies from every corner of the realm. They debate for days, argue, compromise, threaten, negotiate. Tyrion moderates, keeping peace through wit and wine. Finally, an accord emerges. Tommen rules the south. Sansa rules the north. Daenerys becomes Tommen's queen, her dragons his protection. Each kingdom maintains autonomy but swears alliance. It's not perfect, but it's peace. Fragile peace, but peace nonetheless. The wedding of Tommen and Daenerys is a spectacle. 3 dragons circle above King's Landing as the vows are exchanged. The realm watches, wondering if this marriage will succeed where others failed. If these young rulers can build something better, if peace can last. Tyrion stands in the crowd, watching, and feels hope. Tiny hope, fragile hope. But hope. Maybe the game isn't about winning. Maybe it's about everyone surviving long enough to realize there are better games to play. But in the north, darkness gathers. Jon Snow watches the horizon from Castle Black's wall, seeing movement in the trees, hearing horns that shouldn't sound, feeling cold that shouldn't exist. The White Walkers are coming. The long night approaches. All the political machinations, all the peace treaties, all the carefully negotiated compromises mean nothing if the dead march. He sends ravens south, urgent, desperate, warning everyone that the real war hasn't even started, that everything they've fought over is worthless if they don't unite now. Truly unite. Not in politics, but in survival. The raven reaches Harrenhal just as the lords are departing. Jon's words are read aloud. The room goes silent. Some think it's madness. Others remember old stories, old legends, old fears. Daenerys looks at her dragons and knows magic is real. If dragons exist, why not ice demons? She speaks, her voice carrying authority. We march north, all of us. Every soldier, every sword. We face this together or die alone. Margaery nods agreement. Sansa is already moving, preparing the north for war. Everyone who dismissed the warnings feels cold dread, because the game has changed completely. The stakes are life itself. Everything else is dust. The realm mobilizes. Armies that were enemies days ago now march as allies. Lannister beside Stark, Tyrell beside Martell, Dothraki beside Westerosi knights, Unsullied beside Northmen, united by fear, by necessity, by the simple fact that the alternative is extinction. Tyrion watches the army form and knows this is what Westeros needed all along. Not conquest, not submission, but common cause, common enemy, common purpose. If only it hadn't taken the end of the world to achieve it. He drinks to that bitter irony, to humanity's stubborn refusal to cooperate until no choice remains. Tyrion stands on Dragonstone's battlements, watching ships depart for the north. Jaime stands beside him, both brothers scarred but whole. Do you think we'll win? Jaime asks quietly. Tyrion considers the question. The honest question, deserving an honest answer. I think we'll try. I think we'll fight. I think we'll do everything possible to survive. Will it be enough? Maybe, maybe not. But for the first time in my life, I'm not fighting for a name, for a legacy, for personal survival. I'm fighting for something bigger. For everyone. That's worth dying for. If it comes to that, Jaime nods. Then let's make sure it doesn't. Together, the brothers turn from the sea and walk toward their future. Whatever it holds, whatever it costs, they walk toward it together. That's our theory. Westeros is a land filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey across the 7 kingdoms and beyond, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kingdoms and Beyond. Then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel,